Hello. A war has broken out directly to my right, so we'll see what happens. But you don't want to eat that. He's claimed the tower as his own and is now trying to eat it. Alright. Hopefully I don't get clawed. He's very excited. I may not be safe. He is extremely riled up. Alright, whatever happens, man. See you on the other side. Alright. Fucking 6 kits. I appreciate you, Wilco. Thank you for the 4 months. We'll do my best to keep doing. Does spending on Datacrons? God, should I do kids or Datacron first? I feel like it's kids. Datacrons are like more immediately impactful, but we just gotta start digging, right? There's gonna be a lot to get through. Do we go top to bottom? Which prison are we opening first? Well, let's just go top to bottom. Wanted to pay homage to some of the launch characters. Seemed like an obvious counterpart to Stormtrooper Han. Fair enough. Squad vision for this unit. I am not safe. I am in the splash zone, man. He is riled up. Challenging anyone. Our squad vision for this unit after the era concludes includes legacy characters Stormtrooper Han, Princess Leia, R2, and Old Ben. The colonel of the squad would be Stormtrooper Luke, Han, and Leia. Situations where a 5-team person is used, the addition of R2 and Old Ben should shape out the team. He is the first. I guess this might be a release order, so we might as well read it in order. Although I guess it doesn't matter anymore because of isolation. Fucking all of it's made up. None of it's real. My expectation is I assume that this will be a early game character. Alright, unique. Somebody just moved past my leg. At the start of battle, Stormtrooper Luke gains 10 speed. Flay and Hunter allies, they and Luke gain 30 speed until the end of battle instead. Story should counter all Rebel tank allies taunt and all other Rebel allies stealth. Whatever Rebel allies stealth, all Rebel tank allies taunt for 1 turn. So kind of Great Mothers. What are you doing? Dude. He's not bad. He's being playful, but he's not even 11 out of 10. He's at 12. One for Rebel ally stealth, all of the Rebel tank allies taunt for 1 turn. Whenever a Rebel ally gains bonus turn meter while below 100% turn meter, they gain protection up for 2 turns. Whenever a Rebel ally scores a critical hit, they recover 10% health and protection. Design note, some more help for the Venerable Princess Leia and Stormtrooper Han. Additionally, Han or any Rebel tank for that matter gets a pre-taunt, while everyone else gets stealth. Additionally, Han or any Rebel tank for that matter. Oh, wait. Especially Rebel tanks getting a reaction taunt will really help keep the rest of the squad from being targeted. Synergy, using Special 2 as your opener will take advantage of this ability to nearly fully stealth your team. Is he a tank? No, he's a support. Oh, he has a lead. Yeah, I am a little bit thrown off. I mean, I don't mind it being here. We just have to get used to it for the design notes and synergy and inspiration. Okay. I mean, pretty straightforward. Just we'll have to look at whether characters hook into this. Like, it would make Leia stealthing Drogon cause her to taunt, if that matters. I mean, this is like kind of hitting old Ben. He's not a rebel fighter, I assume. All right, let's just see the lead. The brains. At the start of battle, rebel allies gain 10% crit chance, crit damage, defense, max health, and max protection. If Leia and Stormtrooper Hunter present, these increases are tripled. While a rebel ally has more than 50% health, they have 100% defense, and whenever they use an ability on their turn, they expose the target enemy for 1 turn. Only an ability on their turn, though. This is not CLS Part 2. While a rebel ally has less than 50% health, they gain 50% offense. A bit of STH flavor. While a rebel ally is stealth, they have percent defense pen. So there's this dispel from a rebel ally, they gain defense up and foresight for 1 turn. If a rebel ally removes TM from an enemy, distract that enemy for 1 turn. Distracted can't gain bonus turn meter. Okay, I assume that's just available, resistible, unlocked red debuff. 133 GAC, and there is an allied Leia STH and no enemy GLs. Whenever stealth is dispelled, reduce the cooldown of their abilities by 1. While stealth, Leia ignores the target enemy's protection when attacking. Whenever a rebel ally scores a critical hit against an enemy, that enemy loses 10% turn meter. Whenever an enemy is inflicted with distract, they are also inflicted with ability block for 1 turn. Whenever a rebel ally is dazed or stunned, dispel the effect, distract, and inflict protection disruption for 1 turn on the enemy, which can't be evaded or resisted. I'm just saying, if you were designing Clea for Galaxy of Heroes, distract would be a pretty nifty thing to have handy. I'm just, you know, any mechanic you add to the game is clearly just teasing Andor. Mace Investigation was also just teasing Andor content. Follow the money. Follow the lack of money and lack of content. Or were we? Whenever a rebel ally scores a critical hit against an enemy, that enemy loses 10% TM. Whatever an enemy is inflicted with distract, the blue block. Okay, we were there. Whatever rebel ally is dazed or stunned, dispel that effect, distract, and inflict protection disruption for 1 turn on the enemy, which can't be evaded or resisted. I assume the enemy who inflicted daze/stun. Leia and Search Baron have their chance effects increase 100% until the end of battle. Holy shit, that is. I've been hoping that we would see effects like this. Like, a lot of. I was really hoping they were going to do this for Ayla Sakura. They just didn't. Yeah. Like, Ayla Sakura's kit is, like, pretty dang respectable for how small it is. It just. What is it? 25% chance? 33% chance to call it assists? Just make it 3 digits. That would be acceptable. Agreeable, even. While STL is active, he gains 50% evasion, increased by 5%, stacking max 50% each time a rebel ally attacks at a turn. They are. Hey, what's his mastery type? Quick question. Tank allies get 100% defense increased by 5%, stacking max 450. Well, but defense cap exists, so it's a fucking placebo. If defense cap is real, which the test makes it appear real, then it doesn't fucking matter. 450% isn't a real number. It just doesn't exist. We'll see. Attacker allies gain 50% crit damage and offense increased by 1%, stacking max 135 each time they score a critical hit against an enemy. While another ally has protection, Stormtrooper Luke can't be defeated. Oh, that's what it's from. Speederback Ride. Into character abilities with his unit, additionally losing taunt or stealth due to an enemy dispel is usually a death sentence, but getting a free foresight out of it helps remove some of the sting. Yeah. True. Fair enough. I don't know why I keep on defaulting back to, like, well, what if they get buff immunity? But there aren't too many ways to buff immune and also unevadably dispel foresight. Startrooper Luke's leader ability mimics and somewhat improves on Startrooper Han and Leia's leader abilities. I'm gonna be honest, I forgot Princess Leia even had a lead. So it's an upgrader to run STL as a leader in the squad. 350 GAC Omicron is made for players who might have their old Ben and R2 in other squads. Makes the core Luke, Han, and Leia into the powerhouse of that game mode. She's the brains. Okay. IG90. I'm feeling when IG90 takes damage, give Afro Terminator. Our second marquee character for the era of Anniversary IG90 was chosen not just because Galaxy of Heroes launched with 3 different IG droids, 86, 88, and 100, but because Dr. Afra could use a hand with some support that worked over time to boost the effectiveness of her hacked commando droid, and giving the team some much-needed tank-like survivability, plus he's red. Upon the conclusion of the era, IG90 is perfectly suited to slot into Dr. Afra's squad alongside BT1 and 000. Add an HK-47? Really? Well, okay. We'll see. We'll see. That's, he's literally like the bottom, on the list. But, see? We'll see. Ever since they did that change to true damage plus death mark, or like, I mean, in this case, a perfect example. Imagine if HK's multi-grenade worked with torture. Wouldn't that be lovely? I still, for the life of me, do not understand why they made that change. HK just became a dead unit. All right. Uniques, I assume no lead. Really? Oh, Bunny Hunters have a lead, right? Design notes, yeah. Design notes, yeah. Fuck it, I don't know, man. Every bounty hunter has it, so we just had to do it. We threw darts at a dartboard. Dead or alive? Zeta Omicron, Omicron for TW, I assume. Yep. Start of battle, IG90 has a 100% counter chance whenever IG90 is damaged. He inflicts speed down on a random enemy for 1 turn. And all scatter allies cover 5% of the protection if the ally in the leader slot is Dr. Afra. At the start of battle, all allies get 100% protection, and Dr. Afra stealths for 2 turns. That's not Terminator, but that's close. It is dispellable stealth, though. Whenever an ally critically hits an enemy, they gain speed up for 2 turns. Whenever IG90 resists a debuff, I mean, Afra crit chance. It would help. Well, but she doesn't do damage on the first turn. It would only. You would start with that for offense, but you don't really give a shit about getting it on turn 0 for offense. Not that it would hurt, but right, you're not accelerating her using her call it an increase on defense. Whenever IG90 resists a debuff, Dr. Afra gains 5 stacks of Siphon. At the start of battle, Darkside droids have plus 50% crit avoidance, which she has, I think, 30 or 50% already in 5v5. I was already in the market for crit avoid on that team. There's a world where you just cut 000 in 3v3. Obviously, we have more to read, but, like, what's the actual number? Yeah, it's 50% crit avoidance. So in 5v5, the squad will have baseline 100 crit avoid. That's a pretty decent thing to be doing, if you ask me. So if she counter, if Dr. Afra had less than 50 stacks of Siphon, she gains 200% defense. Okay. Whenever IG90 recovers health, inflicts 3 stacks of damage over time on the healthiest enemy for 1 turn. Whenever the hacked commando droid taunts, he gains 100% bonus protection until taunt expires. Whenever a marked enemy is damaged, all Scoundrel allies and hacked commander droid gain 5% offense and they recover 5% health. Mark as well as the Summon Taunting, neither of which they have right now that I can think of. TW, my TW concern continues to just be true. As long as TW is as small as it is, brother, we are knocking on 11 GLs. It's a 16 size board. Like, I don't hold much hope for TW Omicrons. Like, look at what happened to Mace. Mace is literally better in GAC than TW, and he's a 3x TW Omicron guy. Whenever IG90 uses a special ability and Dr. Aphra has 2 or more stacks of Siphon, IG90 and Aphra recover 40% health and protection and gain 30% offense until the end of the encounter. What's the point of Aphra getting offense in a mode where she doesn't really do as much true damage? The GAC Omicrons at least have more true damage that Aphra's offense can kind of matter. Whenever an enemy is defeated, the weakest ally gains damage immunity for 1 turn. Whenever IG90 is defeated, refresh the cooldown of Dr. Aphra's abilities by 1. Whenever an ally critically hits an enemy, dispel all buffs on the target enemy. At the start of battle, scatter allies gain critical chance up and crit damage up for 2 turns, and bouncy hunter allies gain speed up and accuracy up for 2 turns. Whenever Dr. Aphra has more than 50 stacks of Siphon, all allies ignore taunt effects. I don't think this sounds very good, with the exception that maybe Dadbod would co-opt him just for the start of battle speed up for tempo. The rest of this does not sound... Okay, let me put it nicely. This does not sound competitive for endgame TW. That's... Look, man, anytime you see an ability that's like trying to get you value off of you being defeated is like I understand it can be revived, but then like Aphra only really gets value off of allies dying in GAC. At least I'm pretty sure, right? Isn't it like in GAC per relic level? Yeah, in 5v5. Yeah, I don't think this will make Aphra relevant in CW, but it might have other purposes just for the second half. This is also just kind of a generic clause, isn't it? That's like weirdly unrestrained. That's just like globally true. At least that's how it looks. You could literally just jam that in any team as needed. If needed. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Leader ability, calculated suppression at the start of battle. All dark side droids and dark side bounty hunter allies gain 30% crit chance and crit damage. Scarlet is get 20% of his 20% tenacity. Inflict 20 debuffs. That's like actually fairly low. Wait, so was the hack meta droid mentioned just for his lead? Is he supposed to be leading? What? Am I missing context? Payout only happens when a bounty hunter contract is filled by genetic when she gains 50 Siphon. Did I just miss that? Oh, it's in the payout. Okay. Whenever IG-90 receives rewards from a contract or another Scoundrel ally in the leader slot gains 50 siphon, he also gains the following payout. IG-90 and Hack Commando Droid gains 40% defense, and the Hack Commando Droid taunts for 2 turns, and then grants 50 siphon to Dr. Afra until the end of the encounter. Bounty hunter allies have 50% potency and 30% offense. There are a fair few cases where Afra is actually kind of interested in keeping Commando Droid alive. I don't know if I love this. Oh, IG-90 is not a tank. I thought that they said she was getting a tank. All right. All right, fuck it, whatever, man. It's not what I thought it was gonna be. Let's take it for what it is. Fuck it, we ball. One basic, one special. Special ability, Devastating Barrage, cooldown of 3, deal physical damage to all enemies and trigger all stacks of dot on all enemies and mark the target enemy for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. The ally in the lead slot is Afra. Call all other Darkside Droid allies to assist. And allies recover 20% health and protection. They gain offensive for 2 turns. IG-90 gains 40% defense and Hack Commando Droid taunts for 2 turns. I mean, this is obviously quite good. More Hack Commando Droid taunt. Like, they're kind of dabbling their toes in, like, the Luthen area, but I really feel like a big part of what makes Luthen work. You start with the summon. It's a locked mark, and he comes back once automatically. None of that's really true here. Like, you don't really have a pre-taunt. What is Afra's inheritance to the summon? .75 health, .75 protection. 0.75 armor. I mean, it's decent inheritance. She already wants to build tanky to begin with. Wait, I'm sorry. Sorry. Hey, quit, guys. Couple questions. Why is that the tank? Like, Queen Amidala. 1-to-1 inheritance. Armor. 49.5%. Like, a 40% armor increase on 40% is just fucking nothing. When she resummons, it's gonna double scale stats. If we're talking Afra on defense, there is gonna be a second summon. And if we're talking Afra on offense, I don't know, man. I mean, it does have 100% crit avoid, assumedly, right? Good God. I wish I hadn't looked. Yeah, triggering all dots is strong. But, like... Alright, let's do that basic first. Deal physical damage twice to target enemy inflicted with defense down for 1 turn. If the ally in the leader slot is Dr. Afra, granted trigger 2 stacks of hot on all allies. And inflict and trigger 2 stacks of dot. Is the trigger only for the 2 stacks, or is it for all stacks? If there's an... I assume it's just assume. If there is an active hacked commando droid, it taunts for 1 turn. And it doesn't have to be on turn, so he can technically make it taunt out of turn. I don't know, this doesn't sound bad, I just... Oh god. I had in my head the idea of like a 2025 Galaxy of Heroes tank, and I don't feel like we see that here exactly. Like, the thing that stands out to me here is, like, I mean, what was it? Whenever he gets hit, inflict 3 dots. And whenever recovers health, inflict 3. Like, this made sense to me if he was going to be taunting, but, like, what? Whenever hacked commando droid taunts, he gains 100% bonus potential taunt expires. Helps a bit. But, like, it literally has 0... Oh, it doesn't have 0 base health, it is 8,000. Sorry, my mistake. Whenever a marked enemy is damaged, all scoundrel allies gain offense to recover 5% health. Piggyback off of marking them and then mass assists. It's per damage, so like obviously BT1 triple basic accrues extra value. This is a kit that, like, keep in mind, most heal effects don't trigger when you're at full health and heal. You have to have taken damage and be eligible to be healed, and then heal successfully for it to count as a heal. Yeah, I saw this and I really thought he was going to be tanking. This is a lot harder to get value off of then. We'll see, man. He gives you some stuff to try to theory craft around and try to build towards, but I am colder on the unit than I expected. I don't think he's bad, but we will have to see how things play out. I don't think he's insanely strong. Inquisitor Barris, Dark Side Healer. Editor's note: healers, I believe, have the same relic scaling as attackers if you are deciding on who to invest in. Tanks get the best, supports get the second best, attackers and healers get the worst in terms of bulk gains. So anytime you see healer, just keep that in mind. And for Dark Side Droid's Shadow Tank continues. Yeah, kinda, unfortunately. The penultimate character... Wait, doesn't that mean... Does the penultimate mean the one before last? Did he just diss Yoda and Chewie? Also, is Maul in here? Okay, no Maul. I assume we will not see Maul until he comes out a month before the era ends. I was wondering. There was a non-zero chance that today could have been 7 kids. This version of the character references story arc and Tales of the Empire. She was released from prison in order to serve under the Deuce as the newest Inquisitor sister. Alright. Those left behind. Inquisitorious allies gain 20% max health, and at the start of each of their turns, they recover 8% health based on Inquisitor Barris's max health. Whenever an enemy gains a stack of Purge, Inquisitorious allies gain 3 heal over time for 2 turns. Whenever Purge is resisted by an enemy or dispelled on them, Inquisitorious allies gain 10% offense, stacking for 1 turn. While in 3v3, Grand Arena, or if Grand Inquisitor is not an ally, Inquisitorious allies gain 30% crit chance and 50% crit damage. Whenever an Inquisitorious ally critically hits an enemy, that enemy gains a stack of Purge, which can't be resisted until the end of the encounter. Allied Second Sister is immune to Daze and Stun, and whenever Inquisitor Barris uses an ability, Second Sister assists. This assist will be a critical hit if able. The end of each of Inquisitor Barris's turns reduce the cooldown of Second Sister's abilities by 1. Main strength of Inquisitorious is Purge, but against AoE dispels and high resistance enemies, it becomes very difficult for them to inflict enough Purge stacks. This ability attempts to ease that pain by giving bonus offense for 1 turn whenever Mass Dispel or multiple consecutive Purge stacks are resisted. Also, for her Omicron, she has direct claws to Second Sister since she is a Inquisitor usually left out of the main squad. And Inquisitor Barris helps her become a strong damage dealer when you are assembling a 3v3 squad for her GAC. Cost only 10 for 3v3, I forgot about that. Unique 1, allies and enemies can't be revived, a global rule. Wait, this is Unique 1? What did we just read? Oh, Leader. Global Revive Prevention, plug and play. Whenever an Inquisitorious ally... Pause. Rewind. Empire? 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 That is Lord Vader propaganda. Interesting. Whatever. Are we just benching LV clones and going back to classic LV? Is that what's happening here? Whenever an Inquisitorious ally is critically hit, that ally recovers 10% health and protection, and that enemy gains a stack of Purge until the end of the encounter. While Ninth Sister is taunting, allied Second Sister and Inquisitor Barris have 2% defense and tenacity, and allied Inquisitor Barris is immune to Daze and Stun. Whenever an enemy has any number of buffs dispelled, Inquisitor Barris gains 10% TM. You get team-wide Source of Purge, inflicting it whenever an ally is critically hit. Barris is going to be a primary target in any battle. With Ninth Sister's passive taunt gaining ability, Barris will gain defensive stats, is expected to attack at a turn a lot via Unique 2 Patience, accumulate a lot of Siphon stacks, and ultimately grant part of her critical damage to allies. This makes for a pretty interesting gameplay loop. They're trying to position Barris second ninth. Start a battle if all allies minimum 3 are Inquisitorious. This character gains 20% bulk and potency. Whenever another ally is critically hit by an enemy, this character has a 20% chance to gain 100% TM. Is that the 7 Sister Clause? I believe. Whenever an Inquisitorious ally damages an enemy with Purge, this character assists. Whenever Purge is consumed or dispelled on an enemy, this character gains 3% TM. What's stopping me from just running, like, Riva 7th this? That does not sound too shabby. I'm not too impressed with the Inquisitor side squad, but... There's a suggestion for next time Word Yanks comes back. I mean, even without it, I feel like I would rather run this than Grand Inquisitor. I mean, we'll have to see rest of kit, but... Flicker of the Light, dispel debuffs on UFO allies, and they have their current health percentages equalized. All UFO allies recover 10% health and protection. Recover an additional 5% health and protection for each stack of Purge that has been consumed by Inquis allies or resisted by enemies in this battle. Wizard of Barris grants 20% of her crit damage, stacking to allied and quiz allies until the end of battle. Quiz attackers. That's a first. I mean, kind of like mission Omicron type stuff, but note the additional recovery takes advantage of her purge from her basic being resistible. I completely missed the or resisted by enemies. Yeah, they were kind of talking about this with Azure, that they wanted to explore offensive supports. Why should it accumulate crit damage? Does she, though? I mean, it's here, but I don't remember seeing her accumulate that much crit damage. Maybe it's on her abilities. Force Corruptor, dispel all buffs and deal special damage to all enemies. Inflict buff immunity for 2 turns on target enemy and siphon critical damage from them. But how does she build siphon? I assume on basic. If target enemy had 6 stacks of purge, buff immunity can't be resisted and lower the cooldown of Flicker of the Light by 1. Gain a percentage of critical damage equal to this unit's siphon until the end of the encounter and the target loses that much. Can crit damage go into negatives? Yeah, it's an AoE available dispel. At least I assume it's available. Yep, I mean, those are always good. Just keep in mind. Watch for foresight. If they had 6 purge, lower the cooldown of your heal by 1. Okay, so I assume she's going to be assisting with this. Building Siphon, steal with 1, spread with 2. The special damage to target me inflicted with a stack of purge at the end of the encounter. Ufu allies recover 5% health of protection and gain 5 siphon, which can't be dispelled until end of encounter. Yeah. Seems like a fairly straightforward design. This is the first AoE siphon. I don't think it's an AoE siphon. Inflict buff immunity for 2 turns on target enemy and siphon critical damage from them. It's single target. Yeah, they even answer it right here. Alright. She does not feel, oh my god, insane broken. But, I mean, she's got Seven Sister RNG reactivity. She's got extra assists. I mean, like, the assist clause is good. The 20% chance for 100% TM clause is good. Like, you probably just run this in Inquisitor 5v5, right? Just a generically solid package. I would think. Alright. Moving on. DVD. Attacker, Sith Empire. Rounding out the era of anniversary. There's 2 more kits. Why are you stubbing these people? Rounding out the era of anniversary is DVDE. DV is one of the most iconic villains of the galaxy. When we saw this new side him in the Obi-Wan show, it was an opportunity for a new DV character that we simply couldn't pass up. Squad vision for this character after the era concludes is for him to empower the Empire squad led by his new Master EP. On other members of this squad and 5v5 Grand Arena team include Mara, Tarkin, and Royal Guard. That seems unlikely to me, but we'll see. That sounds exceedingly honest in a faction that is rather known for its dishonesty. Unique one, I Am What Remains, Omicron. Omicron is for... what? Where? Oh, jeez. At the start of battle, DVDE loses 51% health. It is inflicted with burning until the end of battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. DV can't be defeated by this burning, is immune to other burning effects, and takes reduced damage from percent health effects. The start of battle, if there are no GLs on either side, I assume that means. Whenever Vader takes burning damage, all Empire allies gain 20% offense, stacking at max 300% until the end of battle. And 10% turn meter. This effect persists through defeat. If Vader ends his turn with 25% or more health, all Empires gain potency for one turn. If Vader ends his health with 75% or less health, all Empire allies gain defense up for one turn. The start of battle, if EP is the ally in the leader slot, Vader gains hatred until he is defeated, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented, and assists when Emperor Palpatine uses a special ability during his turn. And whenever EP assists during another ally's turn. If Vader is revived while Emperor Palpatine is the active ally in the leader slot, Vader regains hatred at the end of that turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Is that Scion's hatred? I assume so. I mean, Reva has it too, right? If I remember right. I mean, this very clearly just hooks into Piat. Right? This is EP Piat. I mean, we'll see if this actually gives EP Piat a way to get started, because that was EP Piat's biggest problem historically, was it was extremely funny when you could get it set up. It was just incredibly unsafe to try to do so in most cases. We shall see. While in Grand Arena, the start of battle, if there are no GLs and Emperor Palpatine is in the allied leader slot, all Empire allies gain hatred until they are defeated, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Whenever an Empire tank ally loses taunt, they are marked for 2 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted, and recover 30% max health protection. I mean, LV lead flavor coming in. It's certainly a welcome clause. I don't remember if Royal Guard pre-taunts after he got reworked for LV. I want to say it was provided by LV Elite, wasn't it? Oh, that's what it was. I knew that was very specific. It's the... he loses 51% health, so that assumably makes Royal Guard pre-taunt. Right. Right. I knew it was something. Vader gains 4 speed, stacking max 80 until the end of battle whenever an Empire ally targets a debuffed enemy with an ability. Takes damage from an enemy ability while debuffed or scores a critical hit. I mean, this is very much clearly just trying to stack up on EPTM train. Not really too much by way of, like, trying to earn a foot in the door. You didn't kill, I did. It's just a kill secured. I don't see what's a big deal. Our team got more gold. What do you want? The start of each encounter, whatever he takes burning damage or when he uses an ability, DVDE gains 1 stack of vengeance until the end of battle or until he is defeated. When Vader loses 15 stacks of vengeance or more, he gains 2 additional bonus turns, and the next time he damages an enemy, the target enemy is death marked until the end of Vader's bonus turn or Vader is defeated. Vader can ignore taunt effects during his turn, just generically always on. Whenever Vader uses a special ability, the target enemy is inflicted with a stack of damage over time for 1 turn, which can't be evaded, but can be resisted. This ability inflicts an additional stack if the target enemy is GR, Ink, or Jedi, and an additional stack if it is Anakin Skywalker. If it is An. At the start of battle, if there is an enemy Anakin Skywalker, they are inflicted with Demoralize for the rest of the battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, prevented, or resisted. And if they are in the enemy leader slot, all Empire allies are immune to daze for the rest of the battle, and Vader can't be targeted while there's another Empire ally. Fuck me for trying to use gas, I guess. I feel like I'm the only person trying to flex gas into other teams. I mean, the places where I'm putting him are not places where he will be appearing, but goddamn, gas gonna need some help. I had this thought the other day. I feel like CG could make some sort of Omicron that was just like, what if you just gave Gas the gas lead taunt mechanic, but made it work in non-lead slot under like JMK? What if you just gave him advance and retreat or whatever it's called for other squads, as long as like all allies are Galactic Republic type shit? Also targets Queen, by the way, because there's baby Anakin. Nobody uses that in Queen. That shit ain't real. If all allies are Empire at the start of battle, Vader gains 50% crit damage, is immune to fear, and turn meter reduction. Still nothing to really get them off the ground. What is Vengeance? Yeah, didn't they say that this was going to be like a Grey Mother's class character? I am not seeing what Vengeance is. Yeah, he gets 2 bonus turns. I assume 1 to apply Death Mark and then 1 to hit it once. Let's see what he does with them. You will always lose. Well, that's... I mean, look, man, I don't expect to win when I play EPP, but I was hoping that this would kind of turn it around. Cooldown 6 is Zeta plus Omicron. Dispel buffs on all enemies and physical damage. Deal physical damage to them, dealing 50% more damage for each debuffed enemy. If the enemy is shocked or stunned, they take another instance of damage, then inflict all enemies with speed down for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled, evaded, or prevented. And they lose 100% accuracy for 1 turn, which can't be evaded. Enemies inflicted with buff immunity for 2 turns, this ability can't be resisted. While in GAC. Is this also Omicron? No. Okay. 2 Omicron. On GAC, if EP is the lead, fracture target enemy and another random enemy. A random fracture? Till the start of DVDE's next turn or until Vader is defeated. Which can't be copied, dispelled, or evaded. Vader can't gain bonus turn meter this turn. A random fracture is kind of crazy. Never had a unit with only 2? I believe Grey Mothers. I guess the tier of character more just means 2 Omicrons than necessarily power level. I imagine this character is largely just gonna try to be a TW unit. It's just gonna try to hook on Mara Omicron, because I'm not seeing anything here that's gonna make this playable in GEC. In lower level, sure, but endgame, I absolutely do not think so. At least on defense, like maybe it just exists for like offense punishes, but like I don't really see it. Winning with EP once you get going is never really the hard part. The hard part is getting there. The hard part is, hey, I'm fighting a Balin or a Zori with weakest and or light side TM preload, or I am fighting a Grey Mothers and everyone has foresight, or I am fighting a Maz and everyone has foresight, or many similar such problems. I don't think this really helps that unless he's just like insanely fast. But the Dispel is evadable, is it not? This ability can't be resisted. No? This can't be evaded. But I believe the buff Dispel can. Your weakness still remains. Are these abilities just trying to diss EP or EP lead? Fuck, man. Deal physical damage to target enemy twice and call the strongest of their attacker ally to assist. If the target enemy is GR, Ink, or Jedi, DVDE also assists. This ability will always critically hit if possible. Okay, so obviously it wants you to apply Deathmark with the other ability and then cash it with a multi-hit on this one. Call the strongest other attacker ally. EP, I believe, is not an attacker. Is he? I think he's support, right? So I guess if I am correct, like Piet is a support, I believe EP is a support. I tried to pull him up in game and got kicked out for the update. I assume the hope is you would draft some sort of Empire attacker that can multi-hit to also try to cash in on the Deathmark. The thing my brain keeps coming back to here is EP, in scenarios where EP could already win, was drafting Nihilus, which is an instant kill. Like, the squad wasn't really struggling to kill shit, it was struggling to get up and running. Yeah, EP's a support. I think Mara is an attacker, I want to say. Mara is an attacker, but isn't like, I mean, maybe if you Vader call Mara calls EP or some shit like that, which I think would also recall DVD, right? That's maybe not nothing. Use of Skull can result in extra wasted days opponents. His turn strikes is better when he uses, then you will die. It's a close moment of this battle if you ask us. I will take your word for it. Basic, then you will die. Deal physical damage to target enemy, and during DVDE's turn, ability block them and inflict evasion down for 2 turns. If the target enemy is dazed, shocked, or stunned, reduce Vader's cooldowns by 1 and he gains 100% offense for 1 turn. So, assuming that the ping pong works where you special 1, which calls Mara, which calls EP, which calls you, then the 6 cooldown will assumedly happen fairly less often. Yeah, we'll have to see. If it's gonna be decent anywhere, it would have to try to be in TW, and I don't think Maracron gets like insanely high usage in TW. I mean, this could change that, I guess. This saying EP Mara DVDA Royal Guard plus probably Piet. I don't think it's that. You would need to try to figure out some sort of cheesy way to go first. Like, we're probably talking Mara Royal Guard, or not Royal Guard, Magna Guard. Magma Trooper. Magmar. Right, like, you just... It's not a locked taunt. I mean, it's a pre-taunt that turns into a... Please tell me the mark is locked. Not... Most teams can't get around the mark, but I'm just... Because, like, you don't have the crit immunity. Right, I assume... Yeah, like, they heal slightly, but I feel like we're missing a lot of the LV lead bells and whistles that help to make him stickier. What are they gonna do? Calling Bladed off? I mean, I literally just said... I mean, there aren't many squads that can do anything about it anyway if it's not locked. I literally just said that, yes. Alright. I don't know. I've always had a healthy back pocket respect for EP Mara. I am still the one motherfucker playing EP Mara Star Killer. So, like... I can't say I'm too excited for this right now, just because... I mean, the reason why this is releasing is not a position I have been in. I have not been doing Maliko Star Killer. I think that shit actually sounds kind of ass. So, when the Stranger releases, and assumedly takes my Star Killer, then I will be in the market for this. But right now, Star Killer is a way better EP Mara lifter than this kit reads as. Star Killer gets you plus 70 speed, daze immunity, stun immunity. Those are some pretty good things to be doing. This, I mean, assumedly you still have no real speed start. So unless he's just insanely fast. This feels like it's also kind of angling towards a early mid-game character, not really meant for end game. Yoda and Chewie, Lemon Light, support GR Jedi Wookiee. Yoda and Chewie will be ferociously releasing third in the era of Anniversary. We took heavy inspiration from the iconic scene at the Battle of Kashyyyk and Revenge of the Sith. Or we get to see the bond between them as Chewie helps Yoda escape Kashyyyk after Order 66. With all the names of the abilities, combining distinctive features from both characters. The first replaced famous quotes with this new word. Hope you enjoy the names as much as we do. Alright. One unique, it's a biggie. The start of each encounter, Wookiee allies gain foresight for 2 turns. All allies are Wookiees at the start of battle. Wookiees are to gain pre-tenacity too, right? If I'm remembering right. All allies are Wookiee at the start of battle. Yoda and Chewie gain Master's Training until the end of battle. Whenever an enemy attacks an ally out of turn, that ally gains 5% TM. Whenever an ally gains Foresight, they gain 10% offense, stacking max 100 until the end of battle once per turn. 5% TM. And whenever Foresight expires, an ally inflict a stack of off balance on a random enemy who didn't already have it for 1 turn. While in Grand Arena, if there are no GL enemies, Wookiee allies gain 25 speed and 40% crit damage. If all allies are Wookiee to start a battle, all allies gain Master's Training. Whenever an ally attacks at a turn, they inflict target enemy with a stack of damage over time for 1 turn. Whenever an ally gains Foresight, they also gain Retribution for 2 turns, and whenever Foresight expires, remove 5% TM from all enemies. The first time each ally defeats an enemy Inflict all enemies with fear for one turn, and all allies gain foresight for one turn. Start of each of Yoda and Chewie's turns, inflict all enemies with vulnerable. Whatever Yoda and Chewie uses... Chewie? Uses a special ability while they have foresight. They trigger all stacks of damage over time and all enemies and inflict disarm on the target enemy for 2 turns or until Yoda and Chewie are defeated. And remove it from all enemies which can't be copied, dispelled, defeated, or resisted. I mean, this sounds definitely plausible. Like, I almost need to reread Tarful's. Tarful's is in the unfortunate spot of, like... I mean, his Omicron, I wanted to say, had some flex in 3v3 when that Datacron was live. It's doing some decent stuff. It was just never quite doing enough, as I recall. I actually completely... I don't know if I ever knew this. I can't even say I forgot it. Whenever an enemy attacks at a turn, all allies gain 25 speed stacking. Oh, it's only for 1 turn. That's probably why I forgot it. I thought that shit was just permanent. Sort of Wookiee ally tanks taunts. Yeah, I thought they gained starting tenacity from somewhere, but maybe that was just on the Datacron. Yeah, this is probably right. I remember it's just the offense equal to 200% of the defense. Which is why it's kind of weird to me that they're stacking their offense, because I don't know if the stacking offense will combo with the offense you gain from your defense. Yeah, I mean, it adds proactivity, it adds solid reactivity. This team seems plausible. At the very least, I'll be keeping an eye on it for 3v3. Like, obviously, you get Tarful plus Zalbar plus Yoda, double Omicron setup. Special 2 ability. First awakens, dispel plus on all enemies and deal special damage to them and distract target enemy for 1 turn. Tarful was the ally in the leader slot at the start of battle. Yoda and Chewie assist, dealing 55% less damage, and all Wookiee allies gain advantage for 2 turns. Unfortunately, I think since the debuff originated from the bike raid, we might not be able to just see what distraction does again. So is it saying he assists himself? Dealing 55% less damage, and all Wookiee allies gain advantage for 2 turns. Fairly short, straightforward ability. Really just kind of depends on what distract does. It is resistible. Distractors can gain TM. I mean, we'll have to see how much damage he does. Special ability 1 with the first. All Wookiee allies recover 20% health protection and gain foresight for 2 turns. Tarful was the ally in the leader side at the start of battle. All Wookiee support allies gain frenzy for 1 turn, which can't be copied or dispelled. These are very short abilities. I mean, frenzy gain is at least potentially impactful if it... I mean, I assume it works like Morgan. I assume it works like Silvo. I assume he is a support. He is. So, like, he will probably not proc his own turn meter, but, like, Tarful would proc, and then it would bounce back to him. It's a short ability, but it's at least, like, fairly high impact. AoE health and foresight and frenzy. is not bad for 2 sentences. Basic ability, deal special damage to a target enemy 3 times, and Yoda and Chewie gain speed up for 1 turn. Damaging 3 times, for example, demonstrates the powerhouse Chewbacca is with his bowcaster. I mean, it depends on how much damage is dealt, which we won't know until the update hits, I guess. Well, the update's out, but we can't see them, can we? Can we? No. I didn't think so. Not until next week. Random SWGH.GG tech? Maybe they just happen to be there? They are not. I did not think so. They are going like a very... This is like a D power creep. So far. I mean, the unique is like pretty decent, fairly modern. But yeah, so far, this really feels like it's not game oriented. Asajj Ventress Dark Disciple. Categories: Attacker, Leader, Bounty Hunter, Nicest, or Ufu. 4th Marquee unit of the era of Anniversary, we have Asajj Ventress debuting a brand new look based on her appearance in the novel Dark Disciple. Banner version of Ventress had her allying with a Maverick Jedi and begin her atonement for dark pasts. I heard very bad things about how that book ended. I heard a kind of character assassinated her and threw away all the decent parts about her. Leader, Selfless Act. At the start of battle, all bounty hunter allies gain critical chance up and offensive for 2 turns. If all allies are bounty hunters, whenever an enemy begins their turns with more than 5 debuffs, they are dazed for 2 turns. When Dark Disciples in the leader slot and not the ally slot, the following contract is active. Attack out of turn 10 times. Reward. All bounty hunter allies have 50% defense pen until the end of the encounter. BH ally revives, they gain damage for 1 turn. Yeah, this doesn't sound entirely important. It's kind of just a placebo filler bounty hunter lead. Unique. Train under me. Dark Disciple has 75% max health and protection and 20% offense. The start of battle at the ally and the leader slot is Boba Fett signed Django. There are no tank allies. Tankless. Bounty Hunter allies gain bonus protection 300%. Until the end of the encounter. Whenever an ally with Disciple is damaged. Wait, Disciple's the fucking acolyte thing, is it not? Chimere? Is she Losufu? No. She ain't. No, the Chimere buff was Acolyte, wasn't it? Morales' Disciple is damaged. Ventress gains 10% offense, stacking max 50% until the next time she uses her basic on her turn. Whenever Ventress starts her turn, allies with Disciple gain 10% TM. Whenever an ally with Disciple starts their turn, inflict evasion down on all enemies for 1 turn, which can't be resisted, and Ventress gains 10% TM. Whenever an ally with Disciple uses a special ability, inflict the enemy with protection disruption for 1 turn, which can't be evaded, and Ventress assists. Whenever an ally with Disciple uses their special ability on their turn 4 turns in a row, they gain 100% offense until the end of the encounter. Their next ability on their turn inflicts vulnerable to target enemy, which can't be dispelled, evaded, or resisted until the end of the encounter. So that's clearly targeting Dadbud. While in GAC, I feel like this is the moment of truth. All bounty hunter allies gain 50% max health and potency. All other non-GL and non-tank bounty hunter allies gain Disciple until the end of battle. Whenever Ventress or allies with Disciple are dazed, they dispel it and gain 50% TM. Whenever Ventress gains bonus TM, she gains 5% offense, stacking max 150 until the end of the encounter. Ventress and all allies with Disciple are immune to TMR. Whenever enemies attack on a turn, allies with Disciple and Ventress recover 5% health and protection. I mean, you've got the 300% bonus protection at the very least. Whenever Ventress uses an ability on her turn, allies with Disciple assists. Yeah, I mean, that also kind of combos with Zuckuss lead, but this is looking for a DBB lead. Although, how much of it is... So if you don't run DBB, you lose the protection. That is a tough thing to cut. I mean, as long as Zuckuss remains bugged, you don't necessarily have to have it. Because, like, I'm in just like a running... I mean, you don't even need a message exam, Omicron, really. If your squad is bugged and you start with 50% turn meter that you shouldn't have, Zuckuss goes first and makes Foresight. She's gonna double mass. I don't even know what her abilities are yet, but she's gonna double mass. Yeah, I figured she was gonna combo on Zuckuss and Forlum. They ignoring the bug. They weren't really impactful enough on their own to make much sense. Is his lead even any good in GEC? His lead is start with 300% bonus protection. That's his new lead. I don't even remember what his lead is otherwise. I mean, it's not bad. It's obviously extremely short. You could even say it's kind of dog shit. But, it exists, certainly. How easy is the contract? Is, yeah, damage 20 times to debuffed enemies. I mean, you'll hit that pretty easily with the mass assists. I'll bounce you into allies, ignore taunt. That's, like, fairly valuable. I don't know. I don't hate it. Like, obviously, it's not that great, but, again, it really is just, like, this is the takeaway. Alright, and what will she be doing? Oh, payout. She also gains the following payout. Ventress gains 100% crit damage if an ally with Disciple has a stack of momentum. Grant 10 stacks of momentum to that ally till the end of the encounter. All allies with Disciple gain 100% turn meter. Zuckuss is a tank. Zuckuss isn't a tank. I'm pretty sure he's a tank. It is kind of weird, I will give you that. She begins on December 30th. I'm not sure what to think about that. They say it's intended for Zuckus, but this says no Zuckus allowed. So you're basically forced to pick and choose. Alright. Now for the abilities. Special duty replace no cooldown? Is she like a dad button? Deal physical damage to target enemy, inflict vulnerable on them for 2 turns, and stun them for 1 turn. If there is an active ally with disciples, stun them for 2 turns instead. Dispel debuffs on Asajj, Ventress, Dark Disciple, and all allies with the Disciple. I assume the Disciple buff. And they gain 10% crit damage stacking max 100 until the end of the encounter for each debuff dispelled this way. That sounds fairly LV coded. Like, obviously, LV is often immune to crits, but you do still get to crit on your first hit along the way. That it is still slight value. Also possibly relevant against Gungans, but Gungans are also crit immune until the Jenny goes down. Call other allies with Disciple to assist, so she is a double assist. But that's like almost a media contract. That is just a media contract, I think. 4 plus 5 plus, let's assume 1 plus 1, even though I think Farlam is like a 3 hit. Yeah, that is basically insta contract. Once you have Disciple on the field, this special allows both Disciple and Ventress to stack critical damage by distilling debuffs. Yep. To call all your Disciples to assist you, triggering various other benefits you get from your unique. Jamo-san makes everyone Disciples. Yep. Come back to me. Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict armor shred on the target enemy until the end of the encounter. Ventress, the target bounty hunter ally, gains defense mana for 2 turns. First time this ability is used, grant target non-GL bounty hunter ally Disciple until the end of battle. Ventress gains retribution for 2 turns. Disciple plus 15 speed and immune to ability block. So no ability block, no days, slight speed start. Wasn't there more speed as well? I want to say. I believe. Maybe not. No, it was Wookiees. Just kidding. I mean, not bad. If you really care about speed, you just strap Zam, right? You'll be okay. If anything, it slightly compounds with Zam Omicron as well, I'd imagine. Maybe you need to put her before Zam. I don't know if it would work that way, or Zam checks base speed pre-battle loading in other effects. I don't know. Obsession with Taylor Swift's? What? Swift strikes. Deal physical damage to target enemy if that enemy was debuffed. Attack again. During Dark Disciple's turn, gain 7% TM and inflict tenacity down on target enemy for 1 turn. Otherwise, gain 12% TM and retaliate for 1 turn. Notes her basic ability allows her to attack twice if the enemy is debuffed, resulting in her gaining increased TM. Or keeping the enemy debuffed is beneficial for her. When attacking a turn, she gains retaliate, which makes damaging her more troublesome. It's unfortunate that they have to spell this out for people, but it's also good that they're spelling this out for people. Synergy, tenacity down when used on her turn means that debuffs for the rest of the squad are easier to apply, which in turn means that she will be attacking twice when assisting or using her basic nearly all the time. Inspiration for the ability just comes from Asajj being a very agile fighter, and her being able to attack very quickly and swiftly. Alright, I think that this is the strongest character out of the 6. I think it might not be even close, to be honest. Also, I just realized, I don't think I actually read Luke's abilities. Did I? I don't remember reading them. I don't think I read them. All right. I'm pretty sure I did already them. Special 2, where can you be? Cooldown of 4, inflict vulnerable on enemies for 1 turn. Rebel attacker allies gain offensive for 2 turns, and non-tank rebel allies gain stealth for 1 turn. Call all rebel allies to assist, dealing 10% more damage for each stealth ally. Design notes and all call ability, getting the whole squad to attack the target is always fun. Precisely, obviously, once that's stealth, and whenever it else is stealth, your tanks don't need to worry about taunting, which they're the only legal targets anyway. Except for the Bad Batch squad! With a locked fucking taunt. It still hasn't been fixed. I've tried like 7 reports, man. They fixed it for exactly 1 character. They fixed it for CX2 because of the base unlock of that, or whatever, whichever it was. Help me. Save me. Bad Batch have gone through, what, 9 months now where they could have had defense viability, but everyone just uses fucking BKM and JML because of the bug. Or not. I don't even think people necessarily use it because of the bug. I just don't think they're thinking about it. Especially 1 short for a Stormtrooper, cooldown of 5. The spell buffs on all enemies, rally all rebel allies, and they gain tenacity for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled or prevented. When you try to report the bug now, my mic is disintegrating. Lovely. They responded when it's fixed. Did you tell them that it's not fixed? There's another step possible there. They did not check bait. Rally rebel allies and they gain tenacity for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled or prevented. Grant target other ally a bonus turn. If the target ally is Princess Leia, she gains 30% offense and endure sound effects during the bonus turn. If Princess Leia and Stormtrooper Hunt are allies, their chance effects are increased to 100%. Oh, no, I did read that. I don't remember this. Weird. Taunt equals no fearless. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I really care about Leia getting taunt. I feel like that's a perfectly okay thing to have happen. If it's Luke's turn, inflict target me with buff to surfer for 1 turn. Attack has high damage, various classic reference to Stormtrooper Han and Lando and characters like that. Buff disruption, immune to buffs until damaged by an attack. Once damaged by an attack, lose 100% TM. That's interesting. Yeah. It was a fun design space for stuff like Fear and Stagger. Cool to see them use it more. I don't know. I don't know if I see this being that great for Leia. Yeah, I don't know if I see the vision. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on that for him. But like, there's not that much protection regen here either, right? So like, I don't really want to use her on offense that much still. It's like 20%. If he was tanking, this would be so much easier to achieve. We need like an anti-sortie. We need a sortie that lets you apply marked. I really wish this said and they recover 5% health and protection. If Rapper is still like a 60 machine, I mean, she would have to like. What could IG90 even make Afra kill to make her draftable for 60 banners? It would have, for me, would have to just be like maybe Rey Ezra, but even then probably not, or like maybe SOK, but even then probably not, or like maybe Ahsoka. And I don't think any of those things are gonna happen. I just don't think IG90 sounds useful to me. Maybe I'm underthinking it on defense. Maybe she could occupy kind of like a mace type area. Just try to be scrappy and annoying. Right now, that shit just sounds like Zori food, but that Datacron will be expired by the time that IG90 is playable. Barris is like, you know, Seven Sister is usually the most annoying Inquisitor. Barris isn't threatening you with unresistible days or team-wide crit immunity, but this is still kind of like a equalization dispel. Right, there that is still a reason to respect it. So I'm gonna say this is probably second strongest at the moment, in my eyes. DVDE. I mean, look. EP Mara is a team that just needs to be able to get off the ground. So, like, maybe to some degree, this character is just like a challenge or reminder that, like, hey, you could technically already be using EP Mara in more matchups than you think. Or maybe he's just a fat sick that you just throw him in LV Mall with enemies can't be revived. But like mods got released now, so that's not even. If this character needed to get printed back when BKM got printed, this character I would have straight up used an LV Mall back then, straight up. For the revive clause, because then all of a sudden you can put pressure on BKM, right? Hey, motherfucker, if you lose BKM, she is not coming back. That is it. That is the game. DVD with 500 speed has entered the chat. 500 speed after you have already won is not speed. 500 speed on a Terminator trained team is not speed. Whenever an Empire ally targets a debuffed enemy with an ability, it takes damage from an enemy ability while debuffed or scores a critical hit. It's EP Mara. When you've already satisfied this condition, you should already have basically infinite TM. It's a placebo clause. Let you cope? I'm sorry. Look, if there's anything I can promise you, Asajj is probably pretty decent. Barris seems pretty okay. And I think it's a pretty safe bet that Maul will probably be a banger to go with Chimere. Better taking damage as Piet preload? But unfortunately, he does not take damage. He loses. And as we know, loss does not count. I wish it preloaded Piet. 5% TM Piet preload would not be insane, but it would be something. I don't know if you can, like, can you, like, run Darkside Amp Bag and he, like, self-burn procs Piet? Yeah, I don't know. It's like, think of it this way, right? It's like, okay, if you want a starter cope, it would be Mara plus Magma Trooper. Would you want to bet your GAC if you're doing like EP Mara against like a trench? I don't think that sounds fun. I actually think that sounds rather ass. I think that sounds fucking awful. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to do that. Turn one, oh boy, I sure hope this RNG goes well. Throw a Magma Trooper grenade. It rolls like Dooku resists the TM. Trench gets activated. Burning Issue 20% preload for him being Empire. Actually, unironically, that could be real. That's not a bad point. Although EP probably says inflict on enemies. It's during their turn. It's not on enemies, but it is during their turn. Is there anything we're not thinking of? Is Vader's greatest enemy himself? Look, man, they were not lying with these ability titles. This was just an open conversation with Palpatine. You will always lose, your weakness still remains, then you will die. That's true, actually. Just true. It's unfortunate that he's a Sith and not a Ufu. Because honestly, you could maybe have a conversation about him with Starkiller if he was Ufu. Yeah, I don't know, man. This era just feels very underpowered. It feels very honest. It feels like these kits needed to come out 3 to 4 years ago. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I don't like to be down on things. I like to be excited for things. But I do not see 2025 / end of 2025 caliber saws. You look at the shit that a squad like Bad Batch could do, and you look at the shit that like an EP Mara could do, and it's like kill a Victorian child level difference. Asajj's power creep rest is pretty average. I don't even think Asajj's power creep. I think she's slightly below rate, but she's in the ballpark enough that she's still definitely considerable. I think Yoda and Chewie might be a scrappy underdog. I like Tarful blew me up once, but it was off the back of that Wookiee cron. It was just like it was a stacking tenacity was what really did it, and then like yeah, they just got to the point where they could just outstack Zori's expose. Like if Wookiee cron returns and they have Yoda and Chewie on top, I could see it being decent, especially in Theory 3. Get to use these 6 non-synergistic units in Coliseum every day. Well, isn't it wasn't there something about load units? Can I see DC set? Yeah, if we're done here. Or is there a news post for it? I assume we'll just have to do it in game. So we cannot see FDCs, I believe, right? Or is it on .gg? Wait, is there no Datacron set? If my shop just refreshed. No Datacrons yet. We got kits today, but no Datacrons? Really? Data for Datacrons is showing up in SOH events on Discord. They just say it's gonna be old legends. I figured it would be some sort of like throwback. Part of our 10th anniversary celebration for Star Wars Galaxy Heroes are proud to introduce the latest Datacron set, Pillars of War. This set shines a spotlight on the legends who helped shape the early days of the game, giving several classic squads new power to stand tall once again. The core Datacrons feature major boosts for Darth Vader, Cad Bane, Ugnaught, Jedi Consular, and more. I figured it was going to be like running it back on some of the most powerful old Datacrons we had, but this is just boosting up launch characters. Each affixes help to design is designed to help these veterans rise to modern challenges while keeping their original playstyles intact. To make this set more accessible, the gear requirements for the core set have been reduced. Effects now unlock at gear 10, 12, and 1. Instead of the usual 1 through 5, this change gives more players a chance to celebrate the anniversary with their favorite legacy characters. Focus Datacrons of this set celebrate with some of the earliest teams to rule the holotables. Expect to see familiar synergies return with a few new surprises. Captain Phasma leads a rejuvenated First Order squad with Geonosian Soldier and Scavenger Ray contributing flurries of assists and sharp strikes. Lando Calrissian teams up with Stormtrooper Han and the Wedge of Biggs duo for fast openings and devastating AoE damage. Boba Fett joins forces with Dengar and Zam to remind everyone that Bounty Hunter still ruled the Outer Rim. Finally, HK-47 takes the leader role once again, joined by Paco the Lesser, IGD-6, IGD-88, and Poe Dameron for a level of calculated destruction that is truly something to be feared. Boba Fett joining forces with Dengar and Zam Wessel could pair with Asajj if the Datacron. It might have like 1 month left to play, depending on what's on that thing. When the units leave isolation. We'll see what's on it. Roll crowns again? Where are you seeing that? Scrolls at the very bottom of general data mine? What if this is just on Nightwitch.gg? It is not. Alright. Understandable. Have a nice day. Alright. I believe I'm at the top. Lando, whenever Lando scores a critical hit, bonus damage for double down is increased by 25% stacking for the rest of the encounter. The Lando that my ass thought always existed when I first started playing the game. Cute, but probably not that good. Baze Malbus a Chirrut. Imwe is an ally. Whenever Baze or Chirrut attacks at a turn, they gain 50% crit chance and equalize their health and protection. While attacking at a turn, if Baze or Chirrut scores a critical hit, they both recover 10% health and protection. If Baze has less than 50% health, whenever he takes damage, the weakest enemy is dealt 100% of that damage, which cannot defeat them. Weird, interesting clause. I don't know if that sounds incredibly exploitable. Alright, Big Zark Lighter at the start of battle, if Wiggs or if Wedge is an ally, Big Zark Lighter gains 50% bulk for the rest of battle. Whenever Biggs damages an enemy, inflict defense down and vulnerable on the target enemy for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. Whenever Wedge assists, he deals 50% bonus damage with a 75% chance to attack a second time, dealing 100% bonus damage and a 50% chance to attack a third time, dealing 200% bonus damage. Rebel Gamblecron. Whenever an ally attacks at a turn, Biggs gains 5% TM. That might be weirdly decent for Leia on defense. If you're just trying to high roll people. Oh, Wedge is kind of shit. Plus, we're like Delta, and I'm probably not going to boost them up. Is Wedge at R3 or at R5? I don't remember. I assume he's at R5. Or is he at R7 for the last Wedge cannon? If he's at R7, maybe it's playable. Boba Fett. At the start of battle, if Boba Fett is in the leader slot, all allies gain 200% defense. Whenever an enemy takes damage from a thermal detonator expiring, all allies recover 10% health and protection, gain 10% TM. And there is... It has to be Boba Lee to have to remember that. Gain 10% TM, and there's an 80% chance that enemy is inflicted with a thermal death for 1 turn, which can't be dispelled, prevented, or resisted. At the start of his turn, Boba Fett dispels all buffs on all allies and grants them defense up, heal over time, and speed up for 2 turns. For each enemy with a thermal debt, they lose 3% defense and tenacity. Whenever an ally is critically hit, they gain protection up to 25% stacking for 1 turn. It's like maybe it was trying to be something cute for like Boba Lee Bausch or something, was like barely kind of a thing back before Jabba came out. But If it didn't require Boba Lee, very different story. At the start of each encounter, if Captain Phasma is in the lead slot, all allies gain 100% bulk and 200% defense. Whenever another ally uses an ability during their turn, Scavenger Ray assists if she has no debuffs. Whenever an ally attacks at a turn, they remove 50% TM from the target enemy and inflict protection disruption for 2 turns, which cannot be resisted. During Captain Phasma's turn, she dispels all debuffs on all allies. If debuffs are dispelled this way, they gain advantage for 2 turns. Kind of the same case. I don't think this is competitive. I mean, the TMR plus protection disruption maybe it works in TW, but like certainly not GAC. Like, obviously, if a TP Omicron exists, that maybe you try to combo it off that, but yeah, I'm still just not really sure on that. Captain Rex. At the start of battle, if Captain Rex is in the leader slot, all allies gain 200% defense for the rest of battle. Whenever any other ally uses a special ability, Rex assists. During Rex's turn, if an ally is inflicted with Daze, Stun, or Ability Block, dispel it and inflicts Protection Disruption for 2 turns on all enemies, which can't be evaded, dispelled, or resisted. CG says, go fuck yourself for even trying to bad batch me. Whenever an ally is inflicted with a debuff, all allies gain 10% TM. Whenever an ally loses a stack of protection over time, they gain Foresight for 1 turn. That might be competitive. Or at least it would force you to... It makes you play more on Captain Rex plus OG Rex's rules. Yeah, that might be the first decent Datacron. I don't think it's, like, insane, but that could be useful. Datacron character Cup. Whenever Cup attacks a stunned enemy with 100% turn meter, which can't be evaded or resisted, and a random attacker ally gains a bonus turn. Whenever Cup gains TM, he removes the same amount of TM from a random enemy. GR allies remove 20% TM whenever they damage an enemy which can't be resisted. I don't hate it. There's a second Cup Datacron. The start of battle, if there are no GL allies, Cup gains the following effects. Oh. It's the same thing. Just properly spelled out. Disregard. Yeah, that doesn't sound bad. That's probably worth getting. Nihilus, at the start of each encounter, there's another support ally. Darth Nihilus gains 100% bulk for the rest of the encounter. Whenever Darth Nihilus reduces his cooldowns, for each cooldown reduced, he gains 25% TM and 50% offense, stacking for the rest of the encounter. Whenever Darth Nihilus defeats an enemy, expose all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. Whenever Nihilus inflicts damage over time, an enemy allies gain 3 stacks of heal over time for 2 turns. Whenever Darth Nihilus attacks at a turn, his cooldown for Annihilate reduces by 1. I lean towards bad. It's win more. It's bad for posting on defense, and I don't use Nihilus on offense. Yeah. I don't think this is good. I think people will like it, but I don't think it's good. Your best case scenario, it's win more on offense. Dengar at the start of wrong screen capture. No, it is not. I'm not sharing my Discord. You are getting a radio play because it's not available in game. Dengar, at the start of each encounter, Dengar inflicts doubt on all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be evaded, dispelled, or resisted. I guess I could just, like, screenshot. Man, there's so much to screenshot, though. I don't... Alright, hang on. Will this be readable? Stay tuned to find out. Yeah, kind of, but I don't know if it'll be for y'all. Alright, I'm gonna read on Discord. Where were we? Who is the last one visible? Okay, that scrolls. Fine, we can just do this slowly zoomed, I guess. I know where we left off. I'm just trying to figure out where this ends. I'll just read from this. At the start of each encounter, Dengar inflicts doubt on all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be evaded, dispelled, or resisted. Balenkron? I mean, flexible Kron. But probably Balenkron. But Balin kind of doesn't want to be resisted, but technically you could pass the first doubt application and then just get resisted on the normal doubt application and still benefit. Doubt enemies for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled or resisted. Whenever an enemy evades Dengar's attacks or resisted debuff, all enemies are inflicted with a stack of damage over time and thermal debts for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. It's hardy. It's respectable. I don't know if Gungans care about that too much, to be honest, but it will at least make life a little bit more annoying for them. Character, General Kenobi, at the start of battle, if there are no GL allies, whenever GK taunts, all allies gain protection over time, 75% for 2 turns. Whenever he loses taunt, all allies recover 50% health and protection and gain defensive for 1 turn. Whenever GK attacks during his turn, if he has Foresight, call all other allies to assist, dealing 50% more damage from the to the target enemy. First time another ally falls below 50% health the first time, GK taunts for 2 turns. If he was already taunting, he gains DI for 1 turn. I feel like this could have just been an Omicron. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's just extra value. It might help you repair your banners. That can't hurt too much. Like maybe for Starkiller type shit. The no GL clause kind of sucks. Because he's kind of just tied at the hip to rear right now. Not that he's insanely good there, but he's decent. Whenever Thrawn resists a debuff, all allies recover 10% health and protection and gains 20% health steal stacking until the end of battle. Whenever Thrawn attacks at a turn, he ignores protection, and if any enemy is inflicted with burning, Thrawn deals 100% bonus damage or removes 100% TM, which can't be evaded or resisted. Yeah, that sounds bad. The start of the encounter, HK-47 gains 75 speed. If HK-47 is in the lead slot at the start of his turn, he inflicts evasion down on all enemies for 1 turn. Can't be evaded or resisted. Whenever an enemy is inflicted with burning or torture, HK's ability cooldowns are reset. Whenever HK-47 uses Assassination Protocol, HK-47 inflicts ability block on target enemy for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. Whenever an enemy is inflicted with Tenacity down, they are also inflicted with Fear. So HK Fear Crown has returned. I didn't really use it last time. I know other people enjoyed it. So, however you felt about that last time will probably inform how you feel about it this time. IG-86, whenever IG-86 critically hits an enemy, gains DI, 25% TM, and inflicts Death Mark for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled, evaded, or resisted. Weird. The enemy was already Death Marked. Gains protection up, retribution, and speed up. It's interesting that CG is starting to plan for % health redundancy. That seems worthwhile. It seems like a good thing to be doing, offering characters. Seen it in a lot of kits lately. IG-88, if HK-47 is in the leader slot, whenever an ally damages an enemy with ability block or fear, 88 assists. Shocks that enemy, which can't be evaded or resisted, and inflicts them with torture for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted. And all allies gain offensive for 2 turns. I'm assuming this all in the same FTC. It doesn't sound bad necessarily. Depends on the full FTC and like how flexible the overall team comp will be. While Jedi Consular is active, all allies are immune to healing immunity. Whenever Jedi Consular uses an ability, all allies recover 50% health and protection, and the weakest ally recovers an additional 10% health and 10% protection. Whenever Consular uses Jedi Healing, revive all defeated allies at 100% health and protection. Immune to healing immunity is interesting. I'm trying to think where exactly that would hit. Kind of maybe on Rey? Like, if you put that in front of, in a team where JMK is likely to be fighting, that also probably would not hurt. JMK? Does JMK really care that much about healing immunity, though? But on EP Star Killer, that would get you easier full banners. I mean, it does give you extra protection rebend. It would top your banners off easier. Yeah. This isn't flashy, but this does feel practical. It's a simple clause, but I think it could have a variety of uses. Not bad. Respectable. Luminara. Whenever an enemy attacks at a turn, all enemies are inflicted with protection disruption, which can't be dispelled, evaded, or resisted, and all allies gain a stack of heal over time and protection over time for 2 turns. Start of Luminara on Dooley's turn, all allies with less than 50% health gain 2 stacks of heal over time for 2 turns. That's severe. Is this all in the same FTC or what the fuck's happening? Yeah. That is respectable. Like, no doubt, if you're trying to post it on defense, it would just inevitably be solved by whatever teams don't assist that could already handle the matchup. But that still limits your opponent's options in a way that I don't think you mind necessarily. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season things were kind of solved in a way that it felt unimpactful, but I don't know. You could generate some leverage off of that. That's not bad. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Poe Dameron. At the start of the encounter, Poe inflicts fear on all enemies. The start of the encounter, Poe inflicts fear on all enemies, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, prevented, or resisted, and exposes them for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. Whatever taunt expires on Poe, all enemies are inflicted with fear for 1 turn. Can't be copied or dispelled. Oh, but it can't be resisted. And all allies gain 20% TM. Whenever Poe Dameron is critically hit while taunting, he gains protection up for 1 turn. Whenever a buff expires on another ally, Poe taunts for 1 turn. That's pretty... That's a non-conditional. That's just any squad. That's a pretty decent thing to be doing. Huh. It says not preventable, which I think immune still trumps, right? I believe immune is the top of the pile. Yeah, I mean, Poe is just a light side resistance tank, but now he is willing to go plug and play. Interesting. Yeah. That's a lot. Datacron character Poggle the Lesser. Each time Poggle the Lesser inflicts ability block, he also inflicts burning for 2 turns. Poggle gains 10% turn meter, and all allies gain 20% offense stacking until the end of the battle. Cute, but Geonosians just need serious help, man. Geonosians just needed to be one of the characters receiving an anniversary update. And they needed one of the better kits than what we had in the anniversary update. And they needed more text on this Datacron. Geonosians, I think Geonosians might be the most worse off team in the game. If we're judging against teams that used to be... Like, if we're judging on relative usability. Character R2-D2. Whenever R2 uses the basic ability, R2 gains protection up, stacking for 2 turns, 50% TM. I mean, that's going to have a decently high proc rate in Leia, right? Whenever R2 damages an enemy using a special ability, inflict fear for 1 turn on that enemy. She can't be evaded or resisted. AoE fear on flamethrower. High tempo for Leia assists. It's not bad. It's presence. I don't think I hate it. It's probably worth getting. Alright. Whenever Resistance Trooper uses his basic ability on his turn, he exposes for 2 turns. Whenever Resistance Trooper attacks an exposed enemy, all other allies gain 20% TM. Resistance Trooper has a 50% chance to attack again and expose a random enemy for 1 turn. Whenever Resistance Trooper falls below 50% for the first time, he gains DI and Health Steal up for 2 turns, and all of their allies gain evasion up for 2 turns. Wasn't this broken back in the day? I feel like this was used for a loop or something. I want to say it rings a bell. Like, probably hooking into CLS Rebels or some shit. I don't remember exactly where. Maybe it was JTR, but I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think it's modernly relevant, but it all depends on whatever that loop was that I am drawing a blank on, but I'm pretty sure existed. Battleground character Rey. Whenever an ally takes a bonus turn, all allies recover 20% health and protection, and Rey gains 10% offense, stacking max 160 until the end of battle. Whenever an ally takes a bonus turn? What? Is that just referring to, like, Cal 30 stack? But that might even be 100% TM. Am I just drawing the hugest blank? What am I not remembering? I don't remember there being any bonus turns here. I guess, like, a fin swap counts, maybe? Ezra, kind of? I feel like I have to be whiffing on whatever the intended use case for this is, because it's expecting you to take 16 bonus turns inside of a Rey squad, which is like... JTR lead? JTR lead is on bonus turns, though. Again, it's only fin swap. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what to think on that. I'm sure what to think on that. I think it's bad. Bonus on an earlier clause, That's definitely a possibility. There are also new messages in their sense. It's just videos, I think. Alright, where were we? Short Trooper at the start of battle. If all allies are Empire or Imp, all allies gain 50% health steal, max health, and max protection. Shore gains defensive baton for 2 turns. Whenever Short Trooper loses taunt, he recovers 20% health and protection. I mean, that would give Short Trooper a slight TM preload, but I don't know if that ever really matters. He's not exactly fast to begin with, that I recall. Character Sunfac. Sunfac has 100% counter chances to use the daze and stun. Whatever Sunfac attacks at a turn, he dispels all debuffs on himself. Sunfac deals bonus true damage equal to 50% of their max health to the enemy. It's a less than exposed damage per assist. Is not terrible. For each debuff dispelled this way, Geonation allies gain 5% defense, max health, and max protection to the end of battle. Not blown away. Ugnaught at the start of battle. Ugnaught has plus 50% evasion. So we should counter inflict breach and held down for 2 turns on all enemies, which can't be evaded or resisted. For each droid enemy, Ugnaught has 20% counter chance, critical chance, defense, health steal, bulk. At the start of his turn, Ugnaught dispels all debuffs on himself and resets all of his cooldowns. Whenever Ugnaught evades an attack, all enemies lose 10% max protection, which can't be evaded or resisted, doubled for droids. Whenever he damages a stunned enemy, he inflicts 2 stacks of damage over time for 2 turns. Whenever he damages an enemy with more than 5 buffs, dispel all the buffs from target enemy, and all enemies are inflicted with 2 stacks of dot. That's just sounds like they're doing it for funsies. DV. At the start of battle, if there are no GL allies, Darth Vader can't be defeated until all the other allies are defeated. Whenever an ally is defeated, Darth Vader dispels all debuffs on himself, resets all of his cooldowns, and takes a bonus turn. I think we had this recently, and I said the same thing back then as well. It is a severe shame that he does choke worse than not MM, because it takes the wind out of the sails, kind of. It would be decent for offense, I'm sure. Zam always critically hits if able. The first time Zam is defeated while there are any active allies, Zam revives with 100% health and stealth for 3 turns. Whenever Zam inflicts an enemy with thermal deaths, she gains 10% defense and offense, stacking for the rest of the encounter, and there is a 50% chance to inflict an additional thermal death. I'm not necessarily blown away by this. Like, the whole point of using Zam is usually for you to go over the top. For you to do some serious finishing final damage before they can attack back. Like, the only case that I've really used Zam lately anyway is fighting gas. And if you get defeated, you do not get to revive anyway. So, like, unless Zam starts cooking with the new guys, this doesn't really have a use case at the moment. It's entirely possible to do new guys wouldn't mind having this. Datacron roll Attacker 2. Whenever an ally inflicts a debuff on an enemy, all allies gain accuracy for 1 turn and 5% offense, stacking max 120% until the end of battle. Whenever an attacker attacks at a turn, they deal bonus true damage which can't be evaded and gain 5% death pen, stacking max 20% until the end of battle. Whenever attackers use a special ability, deal 25% more damage for each buff on target enemy. During attacker's turn, they ignore stealth and taunt if they have no debuff on them. Interesting. For a second, I thought that was going to be insane bad. For a second, I thought it was just, yeah, Bad Batch is just going to fucking destroy. But it seems not. The start of their turn, healer allies inflict healing immunity on all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled or resisted. Whenever a non-healer character is healed by an allied healer, they reduce their cooldowns by 1. Whenever an ally falls below 25% health for the first time, all allies recover 50% health and 100% protection. The first time an ally is defeated, revive them with 50% health and 2 stacks of heal over time for 2 turns. Whenever healer is critically hit, recover 50% health and protection and grant a stack of heal over time to the weakest ally for 2 turns. That is quite impactful. That is very good. That also... That's just meta. That's very good. I don't know if that's going to be farmable or on an FTC. Yeah, very impressive. At the start of each encounter, grant all allies evasion up and tenacity for 2 turns and inflict tenacity down and evasion down on all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. Whenever a non-support ally is critically hit, grant them protection up 20%, stacking max 100 for 2 turns. At the start of their turn, support allies dispel all buffs on all enemies. If evasion up, health steal up, potency up, or tenacity up were dispelled, and inflict the opposite debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be evaded or resisted. Whenever a support is critically hit or inflicted with a debuff, they stealth for 1 turn. Not bad. Definitely a respectable, survivability utility. Yeah, respectable. Not nuts, but respectable. Tank. First time a tank ally is defeated, revive them with 100% health and protection, and they gain a bonus turn limit once per battle. Tank allies taunt for 1 turn whenever another ally is afflicted with a debuff. Whenever tank allies taunt, they gain defense up for 1 turn and 5% crit avoidance, stacking until the end of battle. Whenever a tank is critically hit while taunting, they recover 50% health and protection. Whenever a non-tank ally uses a special ability, tank allies assist if the enemy was taunting, deal 250% bonus damage. Yeah, already. Good. Solid effects. No complaints. Alright. Fun theory time. It's kind of hard to theory craft without, like, I don't know, are the roll crowns just on one FTC, or is this, like... Do we get a bunch of these, or one? Is all the goofy character anniversary stuff the FTCs, and then the roll crowns are just the normal? I feel like the fact that there's only one of each makes me feel like it's gonna be FTCs. It's hard to say, man. Like, the roll crown clauses are extremely respectable, but, like, whether we have one or any number of them really changes considerations. Or for all we know, imagine if it's all the same fucking FTC. You think the 001's a 002's line? I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know. The anniversary character callback stuff is more flavor than power. That knowing which ones are FTCs and which ones are farmable, I think will have a high impact on this season. I guess we will have to see. It's interesting that the Datacron Set is not in game. Or it's apparently in game, but it's not on. Does this mean CG has figured out a way to limit their activity? Because, yeah, according to the post, Relic Delta is also currently in-game but not on. Interesting. I think focus might be in-game, but there's no shop to look at them. Well, I mean, everything has to be in-game if we're reading this, unless we're only reading the focused. I mean, it's entirely possible that fucking everything we just read is a focused, and that like each FDC will be one roll run. So even if the anniversary character stuff is largely a whiff, you're just going to use them all anyway because it's one roll per cron. Apply where used. Interesting. All right, I'll be honest. There was less theory crafting necessary to be done today than I thought, just because I feel like the kits are how do we put this? New player friendly, new player focused, not end game oriented. I assume Spider Mole. Obviously, Chimera is quite hardy as well. And I assume Spider Mole will be of a similar level of power to go with. Yep, we'll just have to see. I'll be very curious to see how soon, if at all, they fix Zuckuss. If they don't fix Zuckuss, that team actually might end up being meta relevant, especially with Asajj. I mean, start a battle, allies gain 100% bonus protection after stealth for 2 turns. You get the starting defense or whatever, right? As well. They're trying to slow you down from just dropping Afra. What's the bug with Zuckuss? Zuckuss is supposed to only give TM out when an enemy evades, I believe is the actual clause, but in reality, it just gives you TM whenever an enemy gets Foresight. So against any squad that starts off with Foresight, you just get an insane preload. It's causing the team to overperform dramatically. It might even be usable this week, although, again, it's harder to kind of want to risk. Notably versus Ezra Exile. I mean, I still... If it's like an R9 Ezra with a relevant Datacron, I don't know that I would want to take my chances on, like, needing to kill him manually with no assist allowed. Seems like a questionable bet, but who knows? All right. Well, the Datacrons are potent. The anniversary kits are what they are. They are our path to getting Spider Mole, is what they are. And yeah, I do think there is some usability. It's just a weird place for some of these teams and squads to land. I don't think they will all be usable by in-game. I don't think they need to all be usable by in-game. But this feels like the first kind of major time that CG said, we're just not going to make stuff for you. So that rings a little bit strangely, or different than what I'm used to. But it's just the way of things. Alright. I think we call it there. See, GSC is about to start, but I don't want to roll straight into it. I need to take a break. I have been sitting too long. Yeah, alright. I'll be back to do some GSC in the evening, a few hours from now. Stop on back by if you would like to see that. We'll see what's up. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Peace.